Hello, everybody. Welcome to Philosophy 3580, Philosophy of Language. My name is Hector Guzman. I'm going to be the instructor for this course. So welcome. So in this video, I want to go over some of the features for our Blackboard shell, briefly go over the syllabus, class expectations, and all that good stuff, and just kind of how the class is going to be structured and how we're going to progress. So let me just get started on that. So on the first day of class, once you enter our Blackboard shell here, you're going to see something that looks something along the following lines here. You won't be able to see everything because I haven't made everything available, and part of the reason why I haven't made everything available is because I'm not completely done with the course. But I'm going to try to give you about 3 to 4 weeks at a time. That way you can have something to do while I'm working on the rest of the course content. But essentially, once the entire course is complete, you'll be able to see something along these lines. So if you look here on this navigation bar, you'll see the tabs for announcements. You can access the syllabus here. You can access, for instance, our reading schedule if you want to know what we have to read for a particular day of the week. You have it all here, in addition to when we have specific assignments due. So our first quiz is due on September 6th, the first paper on September 27th, and so on. These are the individuals that we're going to read, and so on and so forth. You'll also find here, I'll talk a little bit about the Zoom meetings that we're going to have. They're not going to be mandatory, but it'll be beneficial if you can join us for these Zoom meetings. So before I get into all these other features, okay, and also here, here's where you're going to have you'll find all of the readings for the class, with the exception of Soft Kirky's Naming and Necessity. That's one of the books that you are required to purchase. And then here you'll find all of our class assignments. So the paper assignments, first quiz, and final exam. So before I get into some of these tabs, what I want to go over briefly is the syllabus, and that'll kind of help situate what the expectations for the class are going to be, and also it'll make better sense of some of these tabs over here. So if you click on the syllabus here, you'll be able to download it yourself. I already have it here, so let me just bring that up. So, okay. So here you'll find basic information on the course, obviously my name, my email, the course time, and office hours. So this may be a little bit confusing in terms of the course time and office hours, so let me just get into it right now. This class is not going to be a synchronous class. In other words, we're not going to be meeting every Monday and Wednesday at this time to go over the content, and then you guys are going to take notes and do the assignments and so on and so forth. The class is meant to be kind of self-driven class. So you're going to do the readings and the papers and assignments and so on and so forth on your own time. But one thing that I will do where it's not a requirement is every Wednesday between 2:30 and 3:30, I am going to hold office hours specifically for you guys, for this class, Philosophy 3580, where you can come to those office hours and, ask any questions about the reading, about the content, whatever it is, you are thinking about in regards to this class for that week. So these office hours, I put them here because I have to put them for university purposes, but these office hours, I pretty much have them for my other classes. I want to have a quote-unquote office hours for you guys, but they'll be at this time Wednesdays from 2:30 to 3:45. And the way that you can access those office hours, those Zoom office hours, is by going to this tab where we have a Zoom meeting, right? And here I have instructions on that. So I say every Wednesday I will hold these Zoom discussions from 2:30 to 3:45, and during these sessions we can talk about anything having to do with this class, anything having to do with philosophy of language. So I will be in the Zoom room here every single Wednesday, right? And so no one is required to come to these sessions. They're not going to determine your grade, but I think you'll come to find really quickly, given how dense the material is, that it's going to be very beneficial for you to come to these weekly meetings to get some clarification on the content, on the readings, and so on and so forth. Other than that, if you decide not to come to these meetings, then you're going to kind of be on your own. You're going to be expected to do these readings on your own, understand them, and then have the understanding enough to be able to write the required papers for this class. So that's all I'll say about these meetings for now. Let's go back to the syllabus. Where's that at? Okay. So here's some the student learning outcomes and how I'm going to assess you on those. So other than the only book you are required to purchase for this class is Saul Kripke's Naming a Necessity. It is a seminal piece in the philosophy of language and beyond. It really serves as the foundation, not just for the philosophy of, or contemporary philosophy of language, but also for topics in philosophy of mind, ethics, metaphysics, and so on. So it's a really important piece that we're going to be looking at here. In addition to that, there will be other additional readings, and these readings will be posted on Blackboard. You can find them on Blackboard, and I'll go through that in a little bit. The course will have 5 assignments of assessment, so you'll have an initial quiz, a final exam, and then 3 short papers. Now, I'll give more instructions on the short papers, but essentially the short papers, each paper is going to be no more than, say, 700 words, which is about 3 pages. And the first 2 papers will actually serve as a jump-off point for the third paper. So really this third paper is an expansion or elaboration on one of the first 2 papers that you will be writing. And I have the breakdown of the points and the percentages of your grade here. So we're going to be using a standard grade conversion into percentages and letter grade. So you can figure that out right here. What else do we have here? Whenever you send me an email, just please tell me that it's from the philosophy of language class. I'll put that on the subject line or somewhere in the body because I'm teaching 3 different courses this semester. So if you just say, hey, I have a question about blah blah, and I'm not going to know exactly which class just on that basis you're referring to. What else do we have here? So I have just a few details about the assignments. Again, the first quiz, that'll be due September 6th. It's worth 25 points or about 12% of your grade. Final quiz, about the same thing. And then each of the papers are 25% of your grade and so on. Then down here you have the reading schedule, and that is the same reading schedule that you can find over here if you click on this tab. So that's pretty much all I have for the syllabus. Let me kind of jump into these tabs over here and then maybe give you a better sense of how we're going to progress in this class. So let's see. Let's go to reading schedule here. So yeah, this will be fine. So I have these reading topics, or I have these the reading schedule broken down into several different topics. So during the first week, we're not going to cover anything in the philosophy of language. We're merely going to be kind of reviewing some basic tools in logic and critical thinking. So that's what, you can find the material for all of that here if you click on the logical toolkit. Now, there is an assessment for this logical toolkit. There's a first exam, or the first quiz, which is due September 6th, and you can find that first quiz over here. So by clicking on first quiz, you're able to find that right here. The first quiz just covers material that you'll find in this first tab, logical toolkit. So what I would like you guys to do for the first week is watch these videos. So I created some PowerPoints and a PowerPoint video that accompanies this PowerPoint. There's also this reading by Professor Tony Roy, who is a retired philosophy instructor now. Please, make sure to read that. There's also a video on validity. Check that out. And here I have a practice quiz. And so what I would like you guys to do for the first week is kind of go over this content. Try the practice quiz here. So you just download it. There's some questions there. At the end of the document, you'll find the answers to to that. And then once you are done, just make sure to do the first quiz by September 6th. And obviously, if you're having any difficulty understanding that content, that's why it's, I suggest that you come to the weekly meetings for this class on Wednesdays from 2:30 to 3:45, and then I can, go over some more stuff with you. After the first week, then we kind of jump into actually doing philosophy of language. So we're going to spend the first week, we're going to go over John Stuart Mill's of names. We'll go over Millionism or the naive theory. Then we're going to go into some Frege, Russell, and descriptivist theories of meaning. And you'll be required to write a paper on on this topic here. And you can find instructions for that where it says first paper. So your first paper is going to be due September 27th. Right? So if you go here, you'll find, you could download the paper prompt here. I suggest you just do that from the get-go, so that as you're reading, as you're coming to these meetings, you get an idea of how to answer these questions, and you write the paper, and then you could turn it in here, the paper on this Turnitin link, and that will be due September 27th at midnight. Once you do that, then your paper's done. I'll give you some feedback as soon as I can. We'll jump into our next topic, which is the rejection of Fregeanism or descriptivism. And again, you'll be required to write a paper on this topic here. That paper will be due November 7th. I'll try to give you some feedback. And then you'll have one final paper. You can find the second paper here. You'll have one final paper that is due, but your final paper will require you to build on some of the feedback that I gave you for either the first paper or the second paper. So you'll choose either your first paper that you wrote or the second paper. You'll get that feedback, and then you'll build on it, and that'll make up this third paper assignment. So that by the end of the class, you'll have a kind of nine-ish, not 9 pages, like 7 to 8 page kind of paper where you present a theory, you present a problem, and then you present an analysis of that theory or that problem, and so on. And then we'll have a final exam. I didn't put it here in the reading schedule. Oh, sorry. I should mention this. After this section, after week 13, after we go over neo-Millionism, I'm going to give you guys the option to choose which topic you want to go over. Obviously, these terms don't make any sense right now, so we could talk about this later on in the semester. But you have two options, and I'll leave it up to you guys. If you guys want to go over, indexicals, then we can choose option 1, or if you want to go over speech acts and implicatures, then we can go over option 2. But I'll leave that up to you guys, because after we're done with week 13 with this section, neo-Millionism, we can split off into either, indexicals or speech acts and go from there. But anyways, so you're going back to the reading schedule, suppose we choose either of these, let's just say option 1. Your third paper will be due December 6th. And then during finals week, you'll be required to take your final exam. And the final exam is going to consist of some essay type questions, short answer questions where, I may ask you to describe a particular problem or a particular theory or something along those lines. It's not going to be completely difficult if you have been doing the readings and maybe, coming to some of these meetings, and if you did really well on your papers, that should be more than enough to prepare you for the final exam. So I don't think you're going to have to pull an all-nighter, and you'll have more than enough time because I'll put the final exam there. You'll have like a day or two to complete it, given that it's going to be short answer questions, but pretty sure you can knock it out in one day. What else do I have for you here? Okay, I think that's all I have for now. I don't know how informative this is. I know I was all over the place, and I'm talking very fast because I'm trying to keep this under 15 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send an email where I'm going to attach this video, and I'm also going to give you instructions about a possible meeting on the first day of class where we can go over anything that you may have a question about in regards to the syllabus or the class and so on, and then I'll get to introduce myself more personally. So welcome to the class, and I hope to see you soon.